Sisters and brothers, today we begin Holy Week. We celebrate, recall, and bring to the present moment, the suffering of our Lord, as we just recalled. And we bring to mind the sufferings of our world due to COVID-19. We look ahead this week to what our president has told us will be terrible days of so much suffering and death. It is in the midst of this great suffering already engulfing the world that we enter this most amazing story of love, this story of Jesus' suffering, death, and resurrection that brings us the gift of tears. Anglican theologian Alan Jones writes of these tears. The important point is that our weeping is caused by the love of God. The mercy of God is its motivating power. Tears help me to see my neighbors as they really are. They wash away the grime of possessiveness and projections that obscure my vision. Tears give love a chance to happen. Like love, tears are reciprocal. They are not only a gift presented to us, they are also a gift that we can bring to God. So St. Gregory Nazianzen says, "Let everyone bring tears. Even the poorest and the least gifted among us can bring tears. They have the power of resurrection." The story we hear today invites us into the gift of tears as we realize we wake up once again to the experience of God's unyielding, unlimited, unrelenting love for each of us, for each man, woman, child, a love so powerful that it consumed God's only Son. At the same time, we're brought to tears as we awaken this week to the painful realization of our own sin, as we find ourselves in the roles of the disciples. "Surely not I, Lord." Of Peter, "My faith will never be shaken." Of Judas, "The man I will kiss, arrest him." Of the two men testifying against the word and power of Jesus. Of the judging high priest, "Have you no answer?" Of the crowd, "Let him be crucified." We are brought to tears as we realize that we are in solidarity with one another in our self-sufficiency and sin. But we're called beyond the power of sin that divides into a love that unites. We are brought to tears by compunction, by being pricked, by being punctured in this story of the love of God nailed to a cross. The puncturing of the bubble of our own security and self-sufficiency that has happened in these weeks can restore our vision of God. We experience the joy of being loved beyond the value of life. We experience the joy that opens us to see who Christ is. We know the answer to "Who do you say that I am?" And that answer is the boundless love of God. The one whose love binds us now more than ever one to another. The love that can heal our sin and make us whole. It is in this Holy Week, sisters and brothers, the story that we will live as a church is that this love that binds us in solidarity with all, saints and sinners, near and far, privileged and marginalized, resident and alien, healthy and sick. This week, all labels fail but one: sisters and brothers. Sisters and brothers in the light, in the outpouring of God's love, in the gift of the Eucharist, in Jesus' death on the cross, in the descent of Jesus to the dead, and in the rising and raising to new life for all of us. In Jesus' suffering and death, we are indeed made one, bound up with one another in solidarity and love and mercy and hope. So we begin anew this Palm Sunday, this day, at the start of this Holy Week, this holy and yet terrible week, having to give up and empty ourselves, as Paul reminded us. We are pricked and pierced, we are punctured and poured out for each other. We give up our joy of togetherness, our presence to receive one another and to receive our Lord. We give up our control and self-sufficiency, that you, my sisters and brothers, at home may live. So as we enter this COVID-19 Holy Week, we are stopped by the cross of Christ, moved to look at the suffering of our world, moved with the gift of tears, as we are punctured by the pain of those who are sick, by the paralyzing fear of COVID-19, by the courage of nurses and doctors and technicians, first responders, by the grace of grocers and mail persons and shopkeepers and truckers, by the emotional pain of the young and the old who do not understand a world of so few hugs. We are united as Jesus, the punctured one, is for us with a love that bears the healing and uniting power of God. In this week, sisters and brothers, may the shell of our hardness and self-sufficiency be punctured, that God's love may pour through us to our sisters and brothers, that we may see ourselves as one, all children of God. In the harshness of the days to come, may we let our tears bear the love of Christ, as his love flowed from the cross for us. Together this week, may we await the resurrection, by which Christ will raise us beyond all pain, beyond all suffering. May we await the resurrection, by which God will lead us into his embrace, the embrace of his own unyielding, unrelenting, unending love. Until then, in this Holy Week, may we have the gift of tears and know that we are indeed called by Christ's cross into love and solidarity with all who suffer, with all who serve in our world so challenged by COVID-19. May God bless our tears, and may we remember, as Alan Jones said to us, they have the power of resurrection.
Please like, subscribe, or comment below.